CodeViz is a collaborative software diagramming tool that engineering teams use to accelerate onboarding and development and align the team on technical decisions. It works by generating C4-style architecture diagrams linked directly to code. In the case of Ollama, for example, we can see how a user interacts with the system in one of two ways, either through the React UI or via the API directly. If we want to see how one system talks to another, we can jump in and analyze the API client, or look at how routes are set up on the backend. Suppose that I was an engineer on the Ollama team, tasked with reviewing a given PR. CodeViz shows not just the changes, but the wider context that is often missing in the software review process. For example, here we can see that the modification was made to the chat handler function, and we can see how those changes propagate downstream, as well as where additions were added later on. Once we're done analyzing the diagram, we can either send it to one of our teammates directly in CodeViz or export to any number of a few common formats. In this case, we might want to append the mermaid diagram directly to the PR, giving our team that context on GitHub. Suppose instead that I was an engineer on the Twitter team and that I was tasked with reducing the number of posts from the same author in a user's Twitter feed. CodeViz again will take the context of that ticket and visualize it within the system, making it possible not just to jump to the direct line of code that we would need to modify to either increase or decrease the frequency at which we would see the same author, but also showcasing it in the wider context of the system. Finally, CodeViz gives us the flexibility to ask open-ended questions about our system and get a diagram in response. If, for example, we wanted to understand start to finish, how does the Twitter algorithm work, we could enter the following query. The CodeViz agent will search through the file contents of the repository, ultimately writing an activity diagram to the workspace that we can analyze directly. Here we see that from when a user opens their feed, they go through a series of steps, culminating in the home mixer returning an ordered timeline to the feed, and then the process ends. This feature makes it possible to get up to speed on virtually any system. In this way, CodeViz makes it easy to visualize system architecture and jump directly to the lines of code relevant for a given task, accelerating software development and making code more intuitive. Thank you.